The forest moon of Zither 7 was not meant for humans. Its atmosphere burned with ammonia traces. Its gravity pulled at Ava's bones with relentless force. And its apex predators, the Vraken, were the stuff of xenobiological nightmares. Yet here she stood, knee-deep in bioluminescent ferns, her hazard suit keeping her alive in this alien hell. Ava, your oxygen reserves are at 40%. Aiden's voice crackled through her helmet. Come. He was safe aboard their survey vessel, the Meridian, orbiting overhead. You need to head back to the extraction point. 5 more minutes, she replied, scanning the grove of crystalline trees. Their expedition had one purpose: catalog the wildlife, assess colonization risks, move on. Simple, clinical, except nothing about Zither 7 felt simple. The rustling came from her left. Ava froze, hand instinctively moving to the plasma cutter at her hip. Not a weapon, but it would do in a pinch. Through the violet undergrowth emerged a creature no larger than a terrier, covered in midnight blue scales that shimmered like oil on water. Its 6 legs moved in an oddly hypnotic pattern, but one hind leg dragged uselessly, leaving a trail in the moss. A Vraken cub. Ava's breath caught. The adult Vraken stood nearly 3 meters tall, with razor-sharp ridges running down their spines and jaws that could crush titanium plating. The Galactic Council had marked them as a void at all costs, a species too territorial, too aggressive for diplomatic contact. The cub stopped, its voluminous eyes fixed on her. It made a sound, somewhere between a chirp and a growl, tilting its head. The injured leg hung at an unnatural angle. Ava. Aiden's voice cut through her observation. Your heart rate just spiked. What's happening? There's a cub, she whispered. It's hurt. Step away. Slowly. Adult Vraken respond violently to threats against their young. She knew that. Every instinct screamed at her to back away, to run, but the cub's eyes, those alien, unreadable eyes, held something she recognized. Pain. Vulnerability. The forest exploded with movement. They came from everywhere at once. Adult Vraken materialized from the shadows like living nightmares, their scales rippling with aggressive patterns of red and orange. Ava counted 7, then 10, then lost count as they surrounded her in a tightening circle. Each stood nearly twice her height, their breath visible in the cool air, their claws digging into the soft earth. Ava. Aiden's voice was pure panic. I'm reading multiple heat signatures converging on your position. Get out of there now. But there was nowhere to go. The Vraken formed a wall of muscle and scale around her. Their bodies pressed close enough that she could smell their musk sharp, like ozone and copper. They didn't attack. They simply stood there, creating a living barrier between her and the rest of the forest. The cub limped to the center of the circle, crying out again. Ava's mind raced. This wasn't hunting behavior. This wasn't territorial aggression. This was something else entirely. Slowly, carefully, she knelt down. The adult Vraken tensed, their throat ridges vibrating with warning sounds, but they didn't move. Ava unhooked her medical scanner from her belt, moving with exaggerated slowness. The cub watched her, its small body trembling. Ava, what are you doing? Aiden's voice was strained. Something stupid, she muttered. Or maybe something that matters. The scanner revealed what she suspected: a compound fracture in the cub's rear leg, but clean, treatable. Without medical intervention, the leg would heal wrong, leaving the cub crippled in a world where weakness meant death. She had a field medical kit, standard equipment, designed for human physiology, but the principles were universal enough. Ava pulled out the portable bone knitter, a device that used directed ultrasound to accelerate healing. The adult Vraken leaned in, their massive heads lowering to watch. One false move, one perceived threat, and they would tear her apart. Her hands shook as she approached the cub, but she kept her movements slow, deliberate, non-threatening. The cub didn't run. When she touched its injured leg, it flinched but held still, as if understanding. Ava activated the bone knitter. The device hummed, bathing the fracture in invisible waves of energy. She stabilized the leg with quick seal foam. It would dissolve naturally in a few days. But until then, it would hold. 3 minutes. That's all it took. The cub stood, testing its weight on the treated leg. It took one step, then another, the limp barely noticeable now. It looked up at Ava, and made a sound softer this time. Almost musical. The adult Vraken stepped back. The circle parted like a curtain drawing open, creating a clear path back toward the extraction point. One of the largest adults the Alpha Ava assumed approached her. It lowered its massive head until its eyes were level with hers, close enough that she could see her reflection in their luminous depths. For a heartbeat, they stared at each other. Predator and prey, alien and human. Then the Alpha made a low, rumbling sound, and touched its forehead to her helmet. Gentle, deliberate. It stepped aside. Ava walked through the parted pack, her legs barely supporting her weight, adrenaline turning to exhaustion. The Vraken watched her go, silent sentinels in the violet twilight. When she reached the edge of the clearing, she turned back. The cub sat among its family, its injured leg outstretched, already grooming it with a long, agile tongue. The Alpha watched her still. UNMOVING. Ava raised her hand in a small wave. The Alpha's throat ridges pulsed once acknowledgement, perhaps, or warning, or something else entirely. Something that transcended species and spoke to a deeper truth. Compassion recognized compassion, even across the vast gulf of evolution. Aiden's voice was soft now. Are you okay? She started walking toward the extraction point, her heart still hammering. Yeah, she said. Yeah, I think I am. Above her, the Meridian descended through the clouds, its landing lights piercing the forest canopy. Ava didn't look back again, but she felt their eyes on her until she reached the ship. That night, safe in orbit, Aiden pulled up the mission report template. So, he said, how exactly do we document this? Ava smiled, staring at the forest moon through the viewport. We tell them the truth. That sometimes, the most alien thing in the universe isn't how different we are, it's how similar. Below, in the violet forests of Xi 7, a pack of apex predators settled down for the night. A small cub nestled safely among them, its leg already healing, and in their ancient, wordless way, they remembered the strange creature who had shown them something unexpected. Kindness.